Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Cube Ramblings. It is for me right now. It's actually very late. I'm doing this very late at night for some reason. It's been kind of a busy day. I've had a few things going on, so I have quite a bit to talk about. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of recording, but I hopefully can catch up on some things tomorrow, maybe. But anyway, it is Saturday night, February. Wow, I'm going back in the past. Saturday night, April 26th, 2014. I hope everybody's been having a very, very good week. I have not had my ear to the ground as much as I normally do this week. I've been kind of busy with a lot of stuff. I've been trying to mull over some things that have been going on. I do have a few updates as far as games go and whatnot, but this episode is going to be more of a this is going to be kind of almost a farlandy type of episode here. If anybody has watched Kurt J. Mac in his quest in Minecraft, I just kind of want to explore a little bit. I'm not really going to stay in one place too long in this episode. I just want to kind of move around in a few biomes and see what else is out there for me. I wasn't, I'm not really done with this biome, but there was more certainly more in here that I can explore. But I don't know. I'm just in that mood where I just want to kind of walk in one direction and see what comes upon me. So that's what this is mostly going to entail. And plus, it is getting nighttime here in the game, so it's going to get very dark to the point where you can't see anything. So hopefully, I can stop along the way at an inn, and then we'll get past some of the darkness that will be encroaching upon us soon. Anywho, as far as the things that have been going on, I just got done a couple hours ago on Livecraft Mine. That's actually what's been taking up my time today. I intended today to do a bunch of recording. I was hoping to maybe sit down in Ethereum and just do maybe 4 or 5 hours of recording. Just do it straight and see if I can get ahead a little bit, because I've been kind of thinking about the series that are on my channel and trying to figure out schedules and whatnot. But before I get into that, I'll have plenty of time to get into that, because I suspect that this is going to be a little bit longer episode than what I normally do. So before I get ahead of myself, let's take a step back and talk about what's been going on today. So I had mentioned in a live stream many moons ago that I wanted to at some point do some kind of Abba caving episode with a couple of guys on the server. We were finally able to coordinate that for today. So most of the guys I play with are over in the UK, so it's 5-hour difference. They're 5 hours ahead of me, so it's usually difficult for us to get together during the week because I usually record late at night here, and it's usually the early of the morning for them. But the weekends tend to be a good time for that, because then we have pretty much all day to do what needs to be done, and I have no qualms about getting up early if necessary to do things. But we finally got a good schedule down and decided to go do some Abba caving, and I figured I might as well do it through OBS and through a live stream, just because I'm not quite confident yet of my ability to record off of Skype on my Linux machine. I do have a little recording thing here on Linux that will supposedly record my my Skype calls, and I've tested it with the the local callback thing, but I haven't tested it in full production. So I was kind of afraid that it wouldn't work out, and I really wanted to, since this was like the first Abba caving episode that I know of that's ever taken place on Livecraft Mine. I wanted to make sure that everything went smoothly, so I stuck with OBS and Skype there and just recording it that way. What that means for you guys is when I eventually render it and integrate it into my next episode, you'll see a quality difference, and you saw it once before if you looked at my my first LCM special with all of us fighting the Wither boss. At the end of that episode, I actually recorded, the last part of that episode, the sort of the roundup of that episode, in Fraps using my normal stuff, and the whole first part of that episode was in OBS, and you'll notice there is a big quality difference there, compared, between Fraps and OBS there. So you're going to see that again in this next episode, but I'm hoping to get to a point where I can be a little bit more confident in my stuff and know that things are going to work for me, and then record it, in a more normal fashion instead of just live streaming it and then recording off of that. So we'll see. I'm learning. This is all new, brand new ground for me. Trying to figure out the various tools at my disposal and how to use them. And I actually I decided as well to try and post up on Reddit, in the Let's Play subreddit. They have like this Technical Tuesday thread that they do, and I decided to post my video that I did last week of my Let's Play recording setup. Just as a one-off, just say, hey, look, I did this. This may or may not help you guys or not, whatever. And I never followed up on it. I suspect I was already like 2 days late when I put it up there, because it's a Tuesday thread and I did it on a Thursday. So I suspect nobody was monitoring the thread anymore. But it felt good putting it out there. I was debating whether to make it its own thread or not, but those guys are kind of weird about stuff. Like they have a lot of submission rules around submitting videos that deal with your LP chat that are on your LP channel, because they don't want LPers advertising on there, which is understandable, except that it's also kind of stupid to advertise on there, because you're only advertising to other LPers, not to people who actually have time to watch your stuff. So I don't know, and in this case I wasn't really trying to advertise my channel. I was more trying to just say, hey, I made a video, and the video happens to be on my LP channel, but it's it's just because it was more convenient to put it there. You know what I mean? It's not for any other reason. But they're all like suspicious people, so I ended up just burying it in the Technical Tuesday thread in the hopes that it wouldn't ruffle too many feathers. But at the same time, probably nobody has watched it from that thread. I haven't looked at any of the numbers. I haven't even looked at my Reddit stuff really to see if I got downvoted to hell or not. But that's, it is whatever. You try to help out whenever you can, and either people give you the benefit of the doubt or they don't. There's not much you can affect as far as that is concerned. But yeah, had lots of fun doing the Abbot Caving stuff. I don't want to spoil the results yet. I believe Captain Tin is in the process of uploading it now as I record this. I just saw a tweet go out from him, and I know Chaffee is in the process of actually rendering the video. He sent a screenshot out saying that it's going to take 8 hours to render. So there's a part of me that's glad that I had the money to throw into this hobby to get the hardware, and then I'm not in their boots in that regard. So that's kind of cool. My video will probably not go up until Wednesday. I'll probably integrate it with my normal LCM video that week, or this week coming up, I should say. Which means the video is going to be a little bit longer, because the Abbot Caving is 20 minutes usually, and then there's like a couple minutes of explaining what's going on and all that stuff, and then showing the winners. So my next video will probably be a little bit longer than normal, but I don't think that'll be too much of a big deal. I'll try to keep it as succinct as I can, as I usually try to. I'm in that state where I don't know what people find better as far as the length of the Minecraft videos I'm doing, or really any videos for that matter. It's I try to stick to like 25 to 30 minutes because that seems to be the normal length of time, but there's plenty of successful people out there with Minecraft only channels who have 45 to 50-minute videos of themselves talking. So I don't know. It's a toss up. I try to not keep you around for too long, because really it's my Cube Ramblings here is really the thing that is my podcast nowadays. So I try to keep most of my ramblings here whenever possible. That way, if people hate my ramblings, they know that to avoid these episodes. But at the same time, I know there's plenty of people out there who will only watch Minecraft videos. It's really weird. It's like I understand the theory behind it. YouTube and all these online things are really the next generation of video on demand, essentially, and people really just want to watch what they want to watch, and that's it, which is good. I mean, that's why I have a variety channel. Well, that, and because I would get really bored if I only did was play one or two games all the time. So it's good from that perspective where people can pick and choose what they want, but at the same time it's like, for me, and this is the thing I've been trying to figure out how to juggle. I only put one episode up a week of all of my various series going on, and I feel like if I take a critical eye to what my YouTube channel looks like, right, as far as statistics and analytics and all that stuff, it seems like people are using my channel like they would any other channel. They're just kind of picking and choosing what they want to watch, which is fine and well. But my channel's never going to grow if I don't do something a little bit different, probably. And I've never really been that concerned about channel growth because, again, I am, at the end of the day, just doing this as a hobby. I'm not making any money off of it. I don't really intend to make any money off of it. Although if somebody waves a bunch of money at my face, I am just as susceptible to that as any other human being would be. But I feel like I need to do something, though. And because I would like to, I mean, there's always that, in the back of your head, there's always that thought that, it would be kind of nice if I had 100 subscribers or 1,000 or maybe even 10,000. And I've slowly been gaining people over, but I also see that number go up and down a lot. I'm holding steady at about 40 now, which is better than I've ever had. But I've seen it go up to 41. I've seen it go down to 39. I've seen it, it's like, and it always seems to happen around a time when I've maybe skipped an episode one week, like when I introduced, for instance, when I introduced Ethereum, and I skipped Star Crusader for that week. I saw like a subscriber go away, and so on and so forth. And I don't know what the reason for going was, other than they weren't seeing what they wanted to see. So it's I kind of look at that and I go, is it because I'm trying to do something different and it's so radically different from what people are used to that they're turned off by it? Because when I look at other YouTubers, right, particularly popular YouTubers, they typically do maybe 2 to 3 episodes a week of their main series, and then all their secondary series they tend to do 2 or 1 episode a week of. And I've been kind of sticking to the 1 episode per week of everything, and that might not be enough for some people, or even for most people, because it's radically different from what most people do on YouTube. So I've been considering perhaps trying to get ahead on my recordings. So like maybe hopefully I intended to do it today, but I just failed miserably at it today. There's some things that came up beyond recording, some life things that came up, like mowing the lawn and stuff like that, which kind of sapped all my time. But maybe tomorrow I can sit down and I'm thinking of like every weekend sitting down and trying to record something for like 6 or 7 hours of footage of something, and then I'll have it done and I can just edit it, and I'll be able to maybe start posting it twice a week. Say for instance, I sit down and record 6 hours of Ethereum maybe. Then I can go and say, okay, I'll break that up into 25-minute segments or whatever, because I'll probably be keeping my time as I go, as I've been doing lately. And then from there I'll be able to at least do 2 a week instead of just 1 a week, because I'll be ahead of the schedule. And then after I do that, I'll have to sit down and try to do the same thing with another series and try to get several hours recorded, and then get that kind of rolling as well. And my goal is that hopefully I'll have enough there that I can start to tweak my schedule to the point where I am doing things twice a week. It's not something I can just turn on right away because I don't have enough episodes recorded. I mean, literally I'm recording things usually the day before they go up, which is not ideal for me, but it's the way things tend to flesh out from time to time. So I'm sort of looking at potentially, it's all in the my brain case phase right now, where I'm just kind of mulling things over. Nothing's set in stone, but I'm kind of thinking that Ethereum would be twice a week, and Soul Zero would be twice a week, and Minecraft, that's going to be a rough one, because LCM requires so much time, prep time and all that stuff. I don't know that I can do Livecraft Mine twice a week. I don't know. I might be able to. It might be more of a, and this kind of gives me a little bit of pause just to say this out loud, but it might be more of a, I do some things on the vanilla server and some things on the Feed the Beast server. The reason that gives me pause is because I've basically, that would cause me to double the amount of work I need to do in regards to that, because you're trying to prep for both things. So maybe I could do 2 on the vanilla server each day, where I do maybe one that's a more traditional video where I do most of the stuff offline, and another one where I do most of the stuff online, where I chat and also gather resources and all that stuff. I'm open to trying that. The other thing is, I do live stream quite often from LCM. So I could potentially just say, you know what, I'm going to do live stream highlights once a day, or one day out of the week, and just say, okay, the main LCM episode will be on the Wednesdays, and then maybe live stream highlights would be on Fridays or something. Well, I'm just throwing things out there. Or Saturdays, probably more likely. So, I mean, that's an idea. I could try that. One of the weird things, and this is kind of a side thing, and I've mentioned this once before, I think, but it's one of the weird things I've noticed is if I live stream, I can live stream pretty much any game I want to live stream, and no one will show up. But as soon as I live stream from LCM, I'll get random people, and I'm not talking about people who follow me. I'm talking about just random people on Twitch. I will get random people on Twitch who will come by and drop by and say hi and get random followers from it. When I live stream from Livecraft Mine, when I live stream for anything else, nothing. It's very very strange, very very strange. It's almost, it almost gives you that enticement to only live stream Minecraft, almost, except that I would rather still have a variety even over there. And that's the other thing too. The live streaming does take a lot of my time up. I try to do it, I do it Friday nights because it's a nice break, from having a long day. But it also means that and occasionally I'll do it, on Sundays too. But given that I need to catch up on videos, I'm probably not going to do that too often. But it's, and I'm at that point. I don't know. There's a lot for me to do, and there's a lot of games coming up that I want to play, and I want to record because I like recording and I like playing while I'm recording. And I feel like this is the problem that all the YouTubers out there have, and they've all solved it by not solving it. In other words, they'll just play games offline and not record them, or they will record them, but then they won't release the videos until another series is done and over with. Which, in theory I could do. I mean, I've done it with Wing Commander Saga, which, by the way, I still have to get around to editing. My time management sucks. So I could, in theory, do that. It's just, I worry about the quality, right? Like, when I first started out, I recorded a whole bunch, like 6 to 10 hours of Minecraft Plus when I was doing my FTB stuff. And I ended up tossing all that out because it just sucked. Plain and simple, it just sucked. And, granted, I was still learning and I was still trying to, get my voice, and I still am trying to get my voice. But things have started to improve slightly. And by that I mean I live streamed. When was it? Oh, Friday night. Friday night I live streamed from LCM, and a couple of guys from the server joined my live stream just to kind of chat, and had a nice long chat there, like 2.5 hours or so, where I felt like I was hitting on all cylinders. Like everything was coming to me really, really easily. I had topics to talk about. And I felt like, I felt like a real YouTuber. I was a real boy for a change. I wasn't just a wooden amalgamation. but I don't, since I'm still learning and I'm still trying to, and I feel like I'm still trying to catch my voice. I feel like if I record an entire series up front, that when I get to the end of it and I start editing it, I'm going to run into the same problem I ran into with Minecraft Plus, where I look at it and I go, man, this episode didn't really work. This really sucked, and oh, I got to cut this out. No, this doesn't look good either, and man, what was wrong with me that day? And you know what I mean? And I'm just, that fear. It's that fear in the back of my head that I'm like, I don't know. I don't want a repeat of what I've already done, which is why I sort of, when I record now, I might record 2 episodes in one sitting, but usually not more than that. Maybe 2 to 3 episodes, but not more than that, because again, I'm worried that I'm still learning, and if I take a break from it and I come back, I'll have learned something. I'll have a stronger voice. I'll have what have you, something, and so that's my fear that's holding me back sometimes. So that's sort of my the things that have been going on in my head as far as the channel, as far as recording goes. I think I'm sort of convincing myself that yes, I need to have more than 1 episode a week of my series. I can have a few series that are outliers that only have 1 episode a week. Maybe Star Crusader and stuff like that. So, older games and stuff like that. Things that probably aren't as popular. But I'm going to have to start knighting a few of the series and say, okay, this series is important enough, it's popular enough that it deserves 2 episodes this week or every week, and this other one, same deal. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see where I can go with that and what I'm going to do there. It really comes down to the fact that I see, when I look at how much footage I'm going to have at the end of all this, a lot of these games are going to go on for 50, 60 episodes. Soul Zero, I can tell you right now, even though I'm fairly good along in that game, that's probably going to go for another up to 20 to 30 more episodes probably out of that, which means I'll have been playing the game for pretty much an entire year at that point. All right, because it's 1 episode a week. 52 weeks in a year, you get 52 episodes, bam, a whole year of just that. And obviously a lot of games come out in that year, and that thing is just taking up that time slot, and I only have so many time slots that I can do anything with, because since I'm not a partner with YouTube, I can't schedule uploads. I would love if I could schedule uploads, but it requires me to become a YouTube partner, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with it. I mean, granted, I could become a YouTube partner and not monetize anything, which is well and good, but it's kind of stupid, right? It's like I'm worried that if I do that, because there's a possibility that I could monetize stuff, people will look upon that and say, developers will look upon that and say, oh, he's just trying to make money off of me. Oh, he's not really doing this as a fan, that kind of thing. So I try to hold off on that and say, like, look, I'm not even a YouTube partner, so I am just a fan. I make videos because I'm a fan of your game. I want to, I do early access games because I want to give you some feedback. I'm not like some of those other YouTubers who yell and scream and get all mad about things, about bugs and all that stuff. I mean, I understand there's bugs. I'm a programmer. There ain't no software out there that don't have bugs in it, unless it's completely useless to everybody, right? It's just, that's life, and that's why I don't get upset about it too much. I might get frustrated from time to time, especially if it's a really good game and I'm having a lot of fun and I get hit by a bug. Yeah, I mean, I get frustrated, but I don't take it out and go, this is the worst game I've ever played, or this is it's like, no, it's what's the point? I'm not a reviewer. I'm just an LPer who enjoys playing games. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just the way I tend to look at it. So I'm hoping that. So at some point, there's probably. I guess I did this whole long-winded speech to say at some point I'm going to be changing the schedule. Again, I would love to be able to just schedule my uploads. That would be freaking awesome. But YouTube will not allow me to have that pleasure. So that's the thing. If I could do that, then it would be easy peasy. Then it would just be me recording things like a banshee and just just getting them out there and getting them ready to go. Because usually most of the videos are, well, not most, but a good many of the videos I have uploaded ahead of time. It's just a matter of I got to go in and I got to edit the annotations, and then I got to put it in a playlist, and then I got to make it public. And the only times I could possibly do that is when I first wake up early in the morning, at 5 a.m., right before work. And that's kind of a stretch because I got to do a lot of things before I go to work anyway, like exercise and whatnot. So it's, it's kind of pushing it. I can do it. I have done it, but it's not something I could do all the time. And then right when I come home from work, which is what I normally do. So that's around the 6 p.m. slot when things go out. So it's the perils of being a YouTuber, YouTube content creator. And then Twitch is the other thing where I'm like, I'm not quite sure yet what to do over there. I've been just doing what I feel like doing, and mostly it's streaming Minecraft. Some of the stuff that I do off camera normally, just do it as a live stream because why not? And I've played a few other games in live streams too. It's just it's some games lend themselves better to live streaming than others. And there's some games that just lend themselves better to YouTube. Like, I've been playing Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex, with some mods in it. And the more I play it, the more I'm like, you know what? This really is something that probably should happen on YouTube, not on Twitch. Really, I mean, really and truly, because it's hard if you have a game that requires you to focus entirely on the game and not be able to divide your attention between the game and people jumping in and out of chat. It's probably not going to do well on Twitch. And also Twitch tends to be focused more on like the competitive games too. I feel like, my initial thoughts on the live streaming was that I would only live stream multiplayer games because those seem like the things that would be the correct things to live stream, because then people could participate if they see you, hey, I'm playing Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball or something, and people can see you on the live stream and go, okay, I'm going to go jump in and play the same game or something like that. And the more I stream, the more I realize that, that probably, my initial assessment probably was correct. I probably should focus more on the multiplayer games as streaming games instead of single player games. So I think that's one takeaway I'm going to have is just to do that. I'm going to stop doing Deus Ex as a stream. I think what I'm going to do is wait for the big expansion pack or a big community mod pack that's being made for the original Deus Ex. I forget the name of it. I mentioned it in one of these videos a while back. Wait for that to be completed, which should be actually out very soon. I haven't checked up on it. I have to go check on it. And then install that, and then maybe start recording it on YouTube. I was afraid. Some of these AAA games, I'm kind of afraid to record on YouTube because of the way AAA franchises tend to handle YouTubers, i.e., manhandle YouTubers, pretty harshly. So, and I have plenty of other things to record. So it's maybe something I do in the future at some point. There's a lot of like older games that I would really like to play on YouTube. That's why I started with Star Crusader because it's one I don't see very often out there. But I'm also thinking of No One Lives Forever, which there are plenty of people out there who have recorded and played No One Lives Forever. But I would like to go back and play that again. Also, the license for No One Lives Forever, apparently nobody knows who owns the rights to it anymore. It used to be Fox Interactive, but they claim they don't know who owns the rights or anything, so it might be an okay thing for me to put that out there because nobody's going to know who owns what to be able to claim it. But we'll see. These kinds of things will probably be long-term projects that I just dig into once I've exhausted some of the other games that I really want to play. And there's a ton of them that I haven't dug into yet. They're just sitting on my computer. I've been sitting on my computer for months. I need to update them. Lots of things, and mostly indie games because I really like what the indies are doing. And also they tend to be a little bit more in tune with the whole concept of YouTube, and I often hear, I could sit there and, for instance, I've been doing Star Crusader, right? And it's a Take-Two interactive game. You go on to the Take-Two site or on the 2K game site, which is the overarching parent of the company. There is no mention of it anywhere. Like, you can't buy it, you can't get support for it, nothing. And so there ain't nobody there who really cares that I'm doing videos on it, probably. There might be a lawyer that cares somewhere. But as far as the dev team goes, then they're probably all retired and they don't really give a damn anymore. But if I do say, for instance, and I'll use Soul Zero as the counter example, like I hear from the dev quite a bit. Actually, I don't hear from them directly usually, but I do see the results of some of the things that I've found in game, like bugs and whatnot. I do see those getting fixed pretty quickly and rather well, I should say. I mean, there's a recent update that happened, and if you saw my 0.30 update video, that was really cool. A lot of good ideas in there. I won't stake my claim to any of them. I would like to, but no, it's totally the work of the dev, and from what I understand, dev still watches my videos as far as Soul Zero goes. So that's pretty awesome. I can't ask for much more. I mean, that's like direct feedback, and I'm small potatoes. If you see the larger YouTubers out there, they're doing all these AAA games and they're hearing back from the devs and everything else of these AAA games, like GTA 5 and all that stuff. Do you think in a million years that I would, if I put up a GTA 5 video, that I would hear anything from a dev anywhere from that team? No. I am small beans. I am a small fish in a very, very large pond. But indie devs, oh yeah, most definitely. Hell, I put up a video this week of The Last Federation, and I did not, I tweeted out that I was going to do it, but I did not, at Arkin Games or at The Last Federation on it. I followed them, but I didn't like tweet at them and say, hey, look, I'm doing this. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. I didn't do anything. I just regular tweet like, hey, I'm going to delve into The Last Federation just every once in a while. And I'm going to start tomorrow because I didn't have anything else recorded. Well, actually, it was because I I am utterly and hopelessly stuck at at Heroine's Quest. So I've actually started looking up walkthroughs and stuff, and even after looking up walkthroughs, I'm still kind of stuck. So it's going to take me a little while to get through that. That's why I didn't have a video ready to go for it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to jump into The Last Federation because I know how to play it, because I spent a few minutes learning it. And then I'll just put that in there for now. And not only did they favorite that tweet, not only did Arcane Games favorite the tweet where I said just randomly like, hey, I'm just going to dig into The Last Federation, hope you guys don't mind, that kind of thing. That wasn't directed at anybody except those who happen to be following me. Not only did they favor that, but once my video went out, they favorited that as well. And that's awesome. I mean, the guys from Artifact of the Gods as well, I heard directly from the devs on that when I did a video, well, not review, but a video peek at it, a side quest video at it. I mean, that's terrific. That's, if nothing else, I'd like to be able to look back on this and say, look, I was able to provide some useful feedback to the devs, because I'm a programmer. It would be awesome if people would, I don't program games for a living, but it'd be awesome if people, the software I do program, went out and recorded themselves using the software and giving feedback while they're doing it and all that stuff. I mean, that feedback would be awesome. And it's not feedback that I can get from my day-to-day programming stuff, but if it's feedback that I can give to game devs who are just programmers like me, they're just in a different realm, that to me is the icing on the cake. That is not only just the icing on the cake, but it's also the cake and all of its goodness right there. Yeah, I'm off rambling along here, just rambling. This is why I turned this into a podcast, and I just said, screw it. I need to talk things out here. It's very, very therapeutic at times. What else? So that kind of catches up on some of my thoughts around my channel and things of that nature. It's just spent the last 42 minutes or so talking about that. Didn't intend to, but it's, again, I ramble, and this is my excuse to ramble. Something funny that just happened to me a couple hours ago, actually. So after I got done recording the Abbot Caving stuff with the guys on the server, I stayed on the server for a couple more minutes and did a few things, and then jumped off. I said, okay, I want to get some dinner. And normally I don't order out. I just make whatever happens to be left in the house come Saturday, which usually isn't much. But today I was like, you know what? I'm really in the mood for some pizza. So there's a Papa John's near me, and I thought I tend to order from them. They're not the best pizza around, but they do have some interesting toppings like barbecue sauce and chicken and bacon and all that stuff. So I like them for that reason, but also I really like them because I can order stuff online. This is the weird quirk for me. I try to avoid social situations as much as I possibly can. But if those social situations take place online, they're okay. It's when they take place via voice, or in person, that I start to tend to shy away from them. I don't know why. It's just the way my brain works. It's not. It's a little bit of anxiety. It's not social anxiety disorder or anything like that. It's because that would be kind of insulting to people who have social anxiety disorder. It's just something that it just affects me whenever I have to deal with any kind of social situation at all. I get sort of an anxiety attack, if you will. So I went and ordered it online, and I had a bunch of points saved up, so I get a free pizza. So I was like, oh, all right. I turned in my points for free pizza, and I got some breadsticks on top of it. So it was like, it ended up being like $7 with the delivery charge, because I had it delivered because I'm a lazy ass. And no, actually it was more like $8 with the delivery charge. So I was looking at it, I'm like, well, okay, I'll online right there, when you charge it to your credit card, you can also say, here's how much of a tip you want to give to the driver, and it'll just charge your credit card for the tip. That way you don't have to hand them any money or anything. So I was like, okay, $20. There's his tip. And placed the order. So again, it's just in summary, it was an $8 order, and I put a $20 tip on it. Which to me, and I'll explain this in a moment, but to my brain, that's correct. I get a call about 5 minutes later from Papa John's, and they're like, yeah, did you put an order in? I was like, yeah, I did. Like, yeah, because I'm looking at the price here, and did you intend to give a $20 tip? I was like, yeah, I totally intended it. Like, oh, okay, well, it'll be right out then. So I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then, a couple minutes later, the guy shows up at my door, and he says, yeah, here's your pizza and your breadsticks, and sorry about the call, but it's very unusual to get a 200% tip. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why it would be unusual. I mean, to me, it's not really a 200% tip. It's a 20% tip, right? Because the way I look at it, and maybe my brain just works differently than most people's brains, but the way I look at it, the guy still has to use gas, right? He's still delivering a pizza and breadsticks, right? Even though I didn't pay for the pizza, it was a free pizza. He's still delivering it. He's still using gas. I really should pay him. In my mind, that is like probably a $16 order, right? $16 or $17 order altogether. If I had to pay for the pizza and I didn't get it for free. So to me, if you say $17 it was, 10% of that is $1.70. Multiply that by 20% is what? $2.40, right? $2.40. Yeah, now that I say that, no, wait, 17 of a carried one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I did really go overboard, didn't I? Oh well, doesn't matter. I gave the guy more of a tip than I probably should have. So I kind of just destroyed my own argument there. But the way I looked at it, I felt like I should give him the full tip, even though the amount was less. Like if I had done 20% on the $8, right? That would have been what, $1.60, which to me is kind of ripping them off. But then now that I think about it again, yeah, I did kind of give him $20, which is quite a lot. When I was originally thinking about it, I was like, you know what? It's probably going to cost me $20 to do this, so might as well just give him a $20 tip. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, I can understand why he was kind of freaked out that I gave such a big tip. But I mean, that's just how my mind works. I'm like, hey, I would have paid $20 for this anyway, so here, just take it. Have my money. I didn't want something free anyway. I guess my brain is just weird. It's just wired incorrectly. Because I when I looked at it, I was like, I don't want to shortchange the guy, because again, it's, even though I'm getting it for free, I should really give him a full, as though I had paid for the whole thing, a tip. But yeah, I did kind of. Now that I think about it again, yeah, I went overboard. Oh, big spender. But I don't usually buy food, I buy food, but I don't usually order out hardly ever as it is. because it usually requires me interacting with another human being. so I consider that money well spent. And I'll have pizza now for the rest of the freaking week. Because I didn't really want a large, but that's what you get for free. So there you go. Oh, I am weird. In case you were wondering, I am weird. I am a nerd, and I am weird. I don't know how to follow that up now. So anyway, I do have a few things I've been following, even though I've spent most of this video just kind of rambling on about other things. But there have been a few changes, a few updates. So I just saw, and I tweeted this out a few minutes ago. I just saw an article come up in Kotaku about there was an expedition made to New Mexico, Alamogordo, I believe it is, a little landfill there, where Atari back in the day basically buried. This was the rumor, is that they took whatever stock they had left of the E.T. game back in the Atari 2600 days. That was a major flop for them. All the extra copies that they had made, and they basically buried them in a New Mexico landfill. And it was always there's always an asterisk put there, like, yeah, this is what was said, but we don't know if that was actually true or not. Well, apparently, an expedition was put together, funded partially by Microsoft and others, to go out to this landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and attempt, excavate this landfill, this supposed landfill, and see if there were actually Atari cartridges in there. And it turns out that yes, there were actually buried several hundred Atari cartridges in there. Now, the original story was that there were several million buried there. They haven't gotten that far yet, but they have said that there's hundreds that they've seen. So that was pretty funny. I had to have a nice little laugh about that. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can go over to Kotaku and take a look at that. But that is one interesting thing that I saw. Also, I had mentioned last week that Tesla Effect, the Tex Murphy game, the latest Tex Murphy game, was coming out this week. And it was supposed to come out on the 22nd, and lo and behold, I go on to Steam on the 22nd to actually install it because I've pre-ordered it, and it now says May 7th. So apparently something happened. They needed some more time to flesh out some of the mechanics in the game, or flesh out maybe some last-minute bugs. Who knows what it is? So they right at the last minute push their release date back to May 7th. So that is a thing. That actually kind of works out a little bit better, because then it'll give me a little bit of time to figure out what my schedule or lack of schedule will be going forward. So there's that. Also, some news from Ethereum. There's a new patch that is coming, or has come. I haven't checked yet. 1.0.1 patch. It's mostly bug fixes, also some controller-related features. So you can use an Xbox 360 controller, I believe, now on it. They did some kind of... I think there's new mappings that they put in there. Or you can do keyboard only again. And some other bug fixes. They also reduced the difficulty of Mission 102, I believe it was, which... I think I had mentioned in my playthrough, like, hey, wow, there's a lot of really hard things to fight in this first mission here, and apparently I was not alone in that assessment, so that has been fixed. So good things there, very good things there. Also, Adventure Manager. I did a side quest video of it. I mentioned last week that they were coming to Steam Early Access. They are now available on Steam Early Access. I have picked it up. Expect another video or so on that. I intended to make a series out of it at some point, but I have so many series going on right now. if I do make a series out of it, it'll be a very sporadic one, much like the Last Federation series will be, and probably like a lot of my other series are going to turn into be at some point as well. So that is a thing to look for. Also, Radical Heroes. I have mentioned this once before, but I haven't made a video of it yet. That the full alpha has been released of that, so I'm gonna go download that and hopefully do a side quest video of that. I have a bunch of things I want to do side quest videos of, but we will get to that in time. That is the end of this episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next Sunday.